Hi, what are you seeing here? I thought it would be neat to film a BTS video while I am shooting, or attempting to shoot, I should say, attempting to shoot the Vampyr roleplay. So I'm using GH5 here, and you can see it's looking out over the set. I don't know what it's, let's see what it's getting here. Yeah, you can see the main camera. I guess you can't see the main camera. Can you see the main camera? Let me fix this real quick. Probably edit this part out. There we go. Yeah, so at the edge of frame here, you can see here's the main camera I'll be using. You could see the sort of desk full of accoutrements for vampirish kinds of things. There's a few things you can't see that I'll show you in a minute. I have this, I don't know if this is in frame either, no. Let's see, are you in frame? There you are, just barely. This LED, which is a Luxley cello, that is, I'm carrying my own light here because the exposure here is too dim really for the GH5. So I've got the Luxley cello as one of my main light sources. The Kino over here is providing my sort of background ambient light. And then I have a Fresnel, which, yeah, you can see it's that really bright one right up there that lights me up when I am over here, which is where I'll be, in frame for most of this shoot, assuming things go well. There's like a million things that could go wrong. So this is my garage, but as you can see, like I've moved pretty much everything that I have out here right now. It's hot, it's noisy. I'm sure you can hear the dogs barking, and the ambience might actually work, might help. We'll see. It'll at least be kind of appropriate. There's not a lot of cars, at least, so that's good. But it's really hot, and that's sort of my biggest worry right now. Is the Vampyr outfit is a shirt, tie, vest, and overcoat. So I'm a little concerned about that. And for that reason, I've opened the garage doors. You can't see them, but I've opened the garage doors to let a little bit of the cooler night air in. But it's not that much cooler. It's a little bit cooler, but it's not that much cooler. So I'm worried about that. So I'll tell you a little bit about the setup here. Some things you can't see, actually. I will probably get behind the camera now and do some camera work and navigate, dictate as I'm showing you what I'm showing you. Sorry, this is a really bad tripod. So over here you can see the Kino flow. It probably looks white to this camera, but it's not right now. It's very pink, as you can probably see by what it's reflecting off of. Down here, come on, buddy. I can't tell if that's in focus or not. Switch to manual and see how I can focus. There we go. That's my mix pre, which is where all of my sound sources are going to. And you're probably saying, all your sound sources? What do you mean all your sound sources? Well, in this video, I'm using 3. I am using, yeah, it is so dark that I can't tell. Yeah. Oh, what you're seeing there is a microphone and my monitor. So I'm using those 2 Audio-Technica microphones, 1, 2. And then I'm also using this boom mic over here with the intent of covering more space. So the last few times I've done videos in the garage, let's get this tied off here. Last couple of times I've done videos in the garage. Pop you back on. Is it getting my face? I don't know, but let's see. Hope it is. Last couple times I've done videos in the garage, the problem has been that the audio is obviously going to suffer a little bit because of reverberations or what have you, but it also suffered because I wanted to move around within the space, because what's the point of creating a space that you can't move around in? In that case, you might as well be using a green screen, which is, you know, what I was trying to avoid having to do. Let me put this up here and just turn that on as bright as it'll go. That helps a little bit. Which is what I wanted to avoid doing, was using a green screen. So I wanted to move around the space. And so I would move around the space, and then you wouldn't hear what I was saying, or it'd be really, really distant, which is contextually appropriate if, you know, you're supposed to be the viewer at where the camera is, but it's not the optimal experience. So I sort of, you know, figured out the points where I would be during this video, and I know I'm going to be either talking directly to this camera, in which case I'll be here and I'll be covered by these two microphones, or I'm going to be over here doing stuff with the apparatus, right, in which case I will be covered by the boom. So you're not going to get binaural sounds unless I'm up on the camera. It's going to be mono, you know, and I'll just fade it over in post so that, you know, you can hear me wherever I happen to be. You can hear me. Let's see what else. I've got this is the Blackmagic Video Assist that I'm using, not for recording purposes, just for monitoring purposes, which is all I ever really use it for. It was kind of a waste of money, in my opinion, for the camera that I'm using it with. But I have other cameras that I can use it with, so in that regard, maybe it wasn't a waste of money. But I haven't used it for anything other than monitoring up until this point, even though it records. Because the C200 doesn't turn RAW, so why am I going to muck about with anything but RAW? So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this puppy off the tripod again. I'm going to show you up a little bit closer. You know what? Actually, first I'm going to do is I'm going to crank up the light. This is not the way it's going to be lit in the final video, but just for our purposes here, crank up the light, and that's the Kino that I just increased the light on, and it's very powerful. Crank up the light. I'm going to turn on, if it lets me. Oh, it's not going to let me. I'm going to have to pause and turn it on and come back. Okay, I just turned on the stabilizer so that this wouldn't be quite such a nauseating experience. So you can see all the stuff that I have here. This is stuff that's off camera. That's for something else. I've got the Negan bat that I might use. Got some rats, fake rats here. There's probably some real rats in here too, but these are fake rats that I'm going to use to, in the game Vampyr, he feeds off rats because he's trying to avoid feeding off humans. And then really it's just like lots of candles, alcohol lamps, this distilling apparatus, which right now it looks like urine in there, but it was green, but that's what happens. You know, you use different food coloring and stuff, and it changes, and I'm using, this is the food coloring that I was using. It changes over time. Over here, of course, the ubiquitous bag of blood. Then just, you know, an old-fashioned microscope, more candles. These are actually the things I'm going to use. Kind of some, I don't know why I put that up there. You can look, these are the curtains. Look at that. They're just like kind of hammered up there. They're not, it's not right at all. In fact, this candelabra is actually on a light stand because I didn't have a tall candelabra. The rest of the stuff, a lot of it is stuff I got at thrift stores. This thing, I still don't know to this day what it was, but it was $5 at Goodwill. And I found that if you, let's see, Okay, those dogs going crazy. You could put a light inside it, and it's not really doing it right now. I got to set it up, but you could put a light inside it, and it would cast interesting shadows on the wall. Of course, I'm not going to light all of the. Sorry, I got to turn this off. I'm not going to light all the candles until I'm ready to go. So yeah, more candles, and pretty much the frame ends, right at this curtain here. So, right, so the camera, you've seen, here's me pointing a camera at me holding a camera pointed at me. Oh my God, are we going to enter the infinite here? So this is the C200 here, which is obviously my main camera, and lets me do a lot of stuff. I love it. I'm a huge, huge fan of that camera. This is actually an old projector screen that I got for like 15 bucks at a thrift store, and I was going to use it as a bounce, but it turns out I didn't use it. A lot of times, you think you're going to use something and you don't, but it's still there for, I could use it for another video. And I mean, you can see some elements here of what was going to be a schoolroom video that I aborted in light of yet another attack. Anyway, that's not anything we want to talk about. So yeah, so here's what it looks like in the before state. This garage is in pretty, I just spray paint. This is, weird to just spray paint the word flu there, but the reason I did it is because in the game, I just thought it was kind of funny, they do that. They have the word flu, which I understand they were marking houses, but it just seemed weird to me that they were marking houses by just writing the word flu on them because of the Spanish flu. The idea of the game is it's set during what they think is the Spanish flu is overtaking London. But you just write flu. It just seemed funny to me to run around and see that. So I wanted to include that. That's pretty much it. Best laid plans. I've tried to shoot this video a couple times already. Has not taken. In large part because of the heat and the amount of planning that it takes and the amount of work it takes to actually shoot a video like this. I can't leave a lot of this stuff out here. If I fail, I gotta lug it back inside, and it's actually a fair distance uphill to the house. Not that that's really a problem, but it is a pain in the ass though. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure the video will look completely different when I'm done with it. My original plan, and I'm hoping to be able to stick to it, is to do as much dark and light as possible. From my tests, what I've found is the problem with that is focus, autofocus. The camera starts to freak out if it doesn't have enough light to try and find what it's going to focus on. Not sure what I'm going to do about that yet. If I'm going to switch to manual focus, or if I'm going to light a little brighter than I'd like to, and try and fix it in post. We'll see. The moths are coming in. I may have to close this garage door. Anyway, I'll check back in with y'all, or I might not. Your next check-in may be the video. We'll see. Wish me luck.